What's going on, everybody? This is Paul with 12 Up Review. Today we're looking at doing something different today. I've always been talking about every time I do a radio uh, review and stuff that I would show you how to use an install kit, because most cars nowadays require some. And here I have in front of me, I have three different style of kits, even though there's actually quite a few different ways to hook up radios, and actually different style of kits that I wasn't able to get my hands on. But we have three of the basic ones here. Most all cars, trucks out there, they have some sort of dash piece or kit or hole that the original radio was in, that the new radios, whether it be DIN size or those double DIN screen radios, just won't fit in easily. And if you don't use a kit, of course, the radio, all this holes you can see in the dash, the radio's gonna flop around, probably end up short something out or breaking your new radio. So what the companies do is they make these kits to help with installation. And I'm going to go through these different types of kits that they have. One of the basic kits, usually the 95 Ford is a good installation example. Sorry, where you don't need a kit at all. When you pull the radio out, the hole that the original radio was in, the exact same size hole as your kit that comes with your radio. So if you pull that radio out, and after, of course, that wiring up the harness and stuff, you put the kit in the cage, bend these little triangle tabs, if you can see those little triangle tabs of all different sides to secure the cage in the hole. Then you're ready. After wire the radio up, slide it in, you're good to go. That's one example of a vehicle that you don't need a kit. Another example of a radio or cars that you probably won't need a kit is some earlier model, 90 model, like Honda Accords and Civics, where you have a big radio or a radio with a pocket underneath, that when you pull it out, you actually unscrew the sides of the mounting brackets from the radio, and you screw them to the sides of the new radio that you're putting in, whether it be double DIN if they'll fit, or I'll go and use this start off with. You can use a pocket kit that screws up underneath the radio. It'll be like this, and the kit will actually screw to the mounting brackets and to the radio. So when you put it back in, all you're going to see is the radio in a pocket. Now, some cars already have a pocket built into them, and with the original radio already screwed to the top. And what you do is you call what's called an ISO DIN. You just unscrew the factory radio out. You got your factory pocket there with the mounting brackets hanging off. I wish I had some mounting brackets, but two little mounting brackets. You take your new radio, slide it in place, and line it up just right, and screw the brackets into all these little holes on the side of the radio. You have to kind of line it up a little bit, and you put everything back in the dash. You're done. Now, some cars don't have pockets, so this is what this is. This is a pocket kit that allows you to take your factory brackets, screw it to here, find the right trim plate that's going to match the radio. Like this one comes with several different little trim rings that snap on the front of the pocket kit here, so you can match up the radio, so you won't have any gaps or anything. And put this off to the side here. And this particular one comes with little things that slide on, and they actually, in certain cars, actually snap in. Actually slides in to snap in, and then you put the radio in. But that's what this is. This is a pocket kit. It actually works with several different vehicles: older Toyotas, Hondas, Mazdas, like a whole list of cars, even some European style cars. Because, like I said, it's just a pocket kit, and pretty much all three kits here all cost about the same. So, and kits do come with a lot of parts. So if you get a big bag of stuff, you're not using all those parts. Kits usually come with, this is mangled, a booklet. Usually you're like this one, just like a page, but sometimes you actually have to go through 5 or 6 pages to find your vehicle on here. But usually, if you go to a mobile audio store, an actual store, not the local department store, they will actually have a specialized kit to fit your vehicle. So you may pay a little more, but you're getting a better quality kit and you know for sure it's going to fit, and not have to worry about modifying anything when you get home from the local convenience store buying your install stuff. So it's worth the money to pay a little extra to get something better. If not, you're making several trips twice. Anyway, this is the pocket kit, which also can be used with an ISO-DIN of a installation of a radio. Because you're ISO-DINning your new radio to the pocket kit the same way as you would a factory pocket, and mounting the brackets on there and screwing everything back in the dash when you're done. So that's what this is. We'll set this off to the side because there's not much more to talk about it. Now we have two different kits here. This is an all-in-one specialized kit, like I was mentioned earlier. There's actually a little plate right here. I didn't bring it because you'd be kind of you're not able to see it. But this is for from 95 to 02 Chevy pickups and some cars and Suburbans. And this kit actually, when you pull the radio out, the factory radio, you have just little tabs on the side of the radio. I don't know if you can see it. You push your little tabs down and you slide the whole radio out. So to make a kit, you put your radio in, and everything's wired up. You just push it in and clicks in place, and you're done. There's no screws, no anything. So this is what I'm talking about a specialized kit. I'll get this here in a second for something else. Now, actually, well, I guess I didn't talk about it. Like the cage ahead. On this particular kit, the cage, you actually use the cage of the radio. You're not using any factory brackets because the factory brackets are molded onto the side of the factory radio, so you can't really get those. That's why they make the kit. And what you do is you slide the cage all the way through the front of the install kit. Just push it all the way to the groove top and bottom sides. Go all the way in. And then what you do is you take a flat blade screwdriver and bend, I don't know if you can see these, the little triangle tabs behind the plastic, and it will actually wedge the cage against the kit, front and back side. So, and after you do a couple on the bottom, a couple on the top, you should be able to wiggle this kit, and it shouldn't move, without using excessive force. It shouldn't move at all. So that way, when you go to put your radio in, just push it in, and go all the way in till it clicks. Of course, I don't have the thing mounted, but if it's not mounted, the radio's still going to move back and forth. But unless you bend those little tabs, like I mentioned earlier, it'll actually secure the radio completely parallel, or perpendicular, or straight with the cage, and it won't move while you're driving around. And then after everything's mounted up in there, you just slide the whole radio in, click it, and you're done. Of course, after wiring it up and stuff. So that's how this kit works. Now there's another kit. I want to give a second here. I have my cage snapped on the radio. I'll pop it real quick. Now this other kit. I'm a loser. Alright, I'm having technical difficulties. Give me a second. There we go. Alright, then we got the cage out. We'll put the radio off to the side for a second. Alright, now you use on this one, you use the cage to fit in there. On this particular kit, this kit has a molded pocket already built into it, and a little trim ring snaps on the front. And this is like a multi-kit. You can actually, if your car doesn't need them, you can actually snap these little tabs off right here, little screw tabs, because not all cars that this kit's made for, has little screws. Usually just snaps in. But this particular kit comes with some extra pieces. Like, what are those pieces for? Do I really need those? For this particular kit, yes you do. What you do is, these pieces are labeled left and right, and before you get confused, well, this is my left, and the kit's left will be this one, because you'll be thinking you're looking this way, but it's over here, on this side, this left. So it'll be your left, the kit's right. And then what you do is you take these little pieces these little side wall pieces here. And they actually go in. It might take a little bit for you to figure it out. And but they'll snap in a certain place, and you'll have to kind of work with it. There we go. Then on the back right there, on the back of the pocket, there's actually a place that this snaps into also. And then in the little bag of screws that come with it, you actually screw this to the back side. So you do the same thing. This is the other side. The left piece, which goes on the left hand side. This is the right piece, goes on its left, but your right hand side. It's confusing at first. So anyway, you push this through. You gotta be careful because sometimes the little guides that you have to guide everything past isn't going to work with you in any sort of way whatsoever. So it's takes a little bit of work. Some kids, you actually have to sit there and fight with it for a few minutes, because when they make them, they're all these pieces are molded, and they may have some extra little plastic piece that's has a bit too much plastic on it. There we go. Yeah, that's right. And yes, you'll be doing the same thing too. You'll be sweating bullets trying to get these little pieces to snap in there. All because of the manufacturer thought it was going to be funny. I'm about to give up. Okay, alright, got it in there. And this one's going to snap in the back side too. And there's two little holes on the back side of the pocket, here and here. And there's actually two certain screws in this little baggie that comes with the kit that you screw in here and actually secure this to the pocket, because the pocket's molded to the kit. It's not going anywhere. Excuse me. Now when you go to get this kit, you're like, okay, well, let me grab the cage. I got the cage of the radio. You put it in here and you're like, it's not fitting. You know, do I need these little walls? You try to take the walls out. But if you do, you're messing with the integrity of the kit, because these little things right here, you know, help support the sides of the kit, because all the kit does is just snap in there on some of the vehicles. And I mean, if it's not supported right here, you know, these little things might break and the kit might fall apart. So since the cage does not fit through the front, you know, it'll fit this way, but the cage itself is just way too long. So what you do, you take your radio, snap the trim ring off of it, of course aim it the right direction, and slide the radio in from the back side. Of course, and it'll go all the way in to the front there. And if you notice, these little sections right here, these little long grooves, you take the screws, the other screws that come with the kit, and screw these through the kit into the radio on both sides. There's a little long screws. You put two screws on this side, two screws on this side. And that will actually support the radio, and of course you have to get it just right. Make sure the radio's not crooked or nothing. And then when it's screwed in, everything's snapped in, it actually makes the radio less likely to be stolen, because you know they have to tear the entire dash apart to get the radio out. So anyway, after you got the radio put in there, you're like, well, I got my trim ring. Let's put it on here, and you're like, yeah, it just don't look good at all, because it's all in-cage and stuff, or, you know, not in-cage, but like further down. So what you do is you take the trim ring that comes with the radio, and snap it in place. And then you use the radio and slide it forward a little bit to where it just fills in the hole. I don't have it just right in there, but you get the idea. And actually the factory trim ring makes the radio look better in the kit than the trim ring that came with the radio. So anyway, after the thing's screwed and all that, you get your wires wired up, the antenna adapter if you need one, and it plugs in and you're good to go. Of course, like I said, this radio could come out a little further, but I don't have time to fight with it because it is kind of a tight kit. Anyway, that's how this kit works. Now there's some other kits that you get that actually replaces the entire dash of your radio. Those cost quite a bit more. I've seen some kits up to around $500 for the newer cars, like 12 on up or 2012 on up. The Ford Mustang, the Dodge Chargers, Challengers, some of the Hondas. You know, they have a kit. They actually have two kits. There's one kit that replaces the entire front part of the dash on top with all your AC and stuff, or you can put it in front of the gear shift at the bottom. The one at the bottom is just a basic kit. The one on top replaces everything and relocates all your AC and heater knobs. So those kits can be pretty expensive, and you might want to look and make sure that you are willing to get a kit like that you want, and recognize that it may cost some bucks. Anyway, this is Paul with 12 Volt Review. Hope I was able to teach you something about install kits, and that you should really need to pay a little more and get you some better ones by going to the local audio store. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a super day, and please subscribe.